Well, coming up on Mountain News this morning, as coronavirus cancellations continue, more local festivals are opting to skip over 2020. And we talked with one Lawrence County teenager who has his eyes set on becoming a household name in the world of acting.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 33 minutes after 6 o'clock on this Friday. The calendar shows that it's the 17th of July in the year 2020. The Mercury is going to say it's hot. Brandon's going to tell you it's hot. And I'm going to tell you it's hot because, well, fact of the matter is it's hot. So let's bring Brandon into this morning. He's going to say it's going to be a little bit cooler, but it doesn't matter. Brandon, good morning. Happy Friday.
Good morning, happy Friday. You can say that again, Will, because even though we're going to shave a few degrees off the air temperature today, you're not going to feel much of a difference when you step out the door, and it's air you can wear for sure this morning. We're also tracking some rain, some showers and storms up near Moorhead and Rowan County, and then crossing into West Virginia there from Ashland and Louisa, even into parts of northern Martin County, seeing a pretty good little storm right now, and down into parts of Lee County, Virginia, and Harlan County, Kentucky, seeing again some showers and storms this morning. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s, so still a mild morning when you factor in these dew points. So man, look at that. 74 is what the dew point is right now in Prestonsburg, 73 Ashland, 72 London and Williamsburg. So that's just basically you step outside and you start to sweat. Out the door forecast this morning, chances for scattered showers and storms throughout the day. Temperatures top out in the upper 80s, which is cooler than yesterday. We got to 92 yesterday, but still, it's going to be a hot one. We'll have the full forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Will?
Alrighty, Brandon, thank you. Well, 1 week ago today, Governor Andy Beshear signed an executive order to mandate face masks in public, including restaurants. Sawston London initially opened its doors in January before having to transition to curbside pickup in March. Owner Gina Wilson tells us she was a little worried about how people would react to the mask mandate, but is pleasantly surprised with the response.
For the overall 99% of people, they have been super compliant, super gracious, super graceful. We have social distancing marks here inside. We have signage everywhere.
Customers wear their face covering while standing in line, ordering, getting their drink, and can remove it when they sit down at their table. Well, last night we learned that 2 more Eastern Kentucky festivals will not happen this fall. The organizers decided it was not safe enough to hold the Gingerbread Festival in Hindman in September and the Daniel Boone Festival in Barberville in October. Now, another festival in the mountains has been added to that list. Officials with the Mountain Heritage Festival announced the 38th edition will not happen in 2020. I talked with organizers about the decision. The decision not to hold the 2020 edition of the Mountain Heritage Festival was not one made overnight.
We had met in May and in June and then again in July.
But every time Lee Adams and the committee she chairs would take a step back and think, there just was no pathway to holding it this year.
It just wasn't feasible that we could have the festival this year, and we canceled.
The Mountain Heritage Festival benefits many nonprofits who this year will not be able to make that money.
We pride ourselves in being a festival that only allows nonprofits to have food booths and such, and it's going to be sad and hard for them also.
Even though it will not be held in its entirety, there could be a path to enjoy some of what the Mountain Heritage Festival is all about.
We probably will do a virtual photo contest, maybe even the dog contest, things like that. So it won't be like being here in town, but we may do a few things virtually.
But when it comes to coming together and enjoying each other's company, COVID-19 is just too big to overlook. In Letcher County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News. Now, the festival committee is still selling T-shirts to mark the occasion. More details should come on that virtual idea and how to get T-shirts towards the end of the month. Well, a Lawrence County teen has his sights set on stardom. Sean Weston Thacker is 14, but he already has a budding career in the entertainment industry. He has been featured as a background actor on several different television shows, an experience which he says is unlike anything else.
It's a lot of fun because you get to meet all these people, and like just the experience of being on set is just awesome. I love it.
Thacker hopes to make it to Broadway and eventually land a leading role on the big screen. Well, the historic Cole House in Middlesboro sat empty for the last 2 years, but now the Bell County Chamber of Commerce is making the Cole House a home again. WYMT's Dakota Makris has more.
You can find the Bell County Chamber of Commerce at the Middlesboro Author Museum. Now the Chamber is moving back to the historic Cole House.
We thought that we would move over to the Author Museum where we could collaborate better with tourism and Middlesboro Main Street, but the building is kind of in disrepair.
Like most houses that are more than 90 years old, renovations are needed.
We're trying to restore it the best we can to make sure that it stays with us the other decades.
In the late 80s, the house made out of 42 tons of coal stood up against a tornado which damaged some of the coal and the roof. Now the chamber is working to preserve the coal for many years to come.
We're trying to restore the most of it to make sure it stays intact.
The Cole House, a staple of the community.
We are excited about moving back to the Cole House. Everybody knows where we're at when we say we're at the Cole House.
The Cole House providing a space to come together to share thoughts and ideas.
This allows us to be right beside of the city hall and work close with the mayor here and along with the one in Pineville. All of our businesses and stuff, we try to get education out to them and training that they need to move businesses in.
Excited to return to 4 familiar walls. In Bell County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Now the Chamber expects to be back in the Cole House on August 1st. Well, Tom Busick has served a 20-year career in the Middlesboro Police Department, and during that time, he's worn several hats, from a patrol officer to the first K-9 handler in the department. For the past year, Busick has served as the chief of police. Busick is set to retire from the police department at the end of the month. He says this will give him more time to focus on his family and even become a nurse.
I'm going to school. I've been going to school for the past couple of years to work on my nursing degree, so that way I can work and travel a couple of years down the road so me and my wife can do that. And just being able to be here for the men, when they needed something. And that's been the best part of it is being here with them and the men and the women in the department. And I was able to hire some officers and some dispatchers, and that's been real enjoyable as well.
Busick said he is stepping down as chief during the last week in July to help with the transition, but his final day of work is July 30th. Well, during the past 10 years, Addiction Recovery Care has opened more than 30 treatment facilities in 17 Kentucky counties. For years, their centers were capped at 16 beds, but now federal and state government lifted those limitations so they can have more than 100-bed treatment centers. They recently opened and expanded 2 100-bed facilities, the first ones in the state. WYMT's Emily Bennett shares why these kinds of centers are so important.
For decades, Kentucky has fought the opioid epidemic, and now COVID-19 has only increased the need for addiction treatment.
We're fighting an epidemic inside of a pandemic.
Years of regulations limited treatment facilities to 16 beds, but now those limitations are gone.
There's additional legislation that allows you to go up to 192.
Just 6 weeks ago, Addiction Recovery Care opened this facility for women in Knott County, with a 119-bed capacity.
More space in their bedrooms. The bathrooms are huge. They're able to, sit down in the cafeteria. It's not like everybody trying to sit in a kitchen. It's been so good.
Conjita Horn is the director of this center. Recovery strikes home for her as her daughter was the first patient ARC ever had.
Someone stood in and loved my daughter because it got to the point that I couldn't. So God has allowed me to be here to love these ladies.
She has seen the need for this treatment firsthand, which is why she understands the impact a larger center with more spaces spread out has on the women.
Everyone has more individualized care with the counselors and also with their peer support. So it gives them more one-on-one time so that they can meet with them and help work through their problems.
Instead of individual centers for each phase of care, patients in all 3 phases are under one roof.
Your first people that come in at phase 1 that are broken and need help to battle the addiction, they have the support of people who have walked through it already.
Giving those just starting treatment hope that they can win their battle. In Knott County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Currently, there are 52 women at the Creekside facility. Addiction Recovery Care also expanded their men's facility, River Place in Pike County, to have more than 100 beds.
Helpers and Heroes, sponsored by Wolf Williams and Reynolds, serving Eastern Kentucky for Social Security Disability and Federal Black Lung.
Well, we finish our series this morning highlighting that whole family of frontline helpers and heroes with the last 2 pictures. And all these pictures this week have been sent in by Lori Johnson. Let's take a look at the first picture this morning. It's her nephew, Alan Parks. Alan is a direct support professional at Dungarvan. Dungarvan offers support services for a variety of individuals with different life needs. Thank you, Alan, for being there to support those who need it during this difficult time. And our last picture from Lori's family is another nephew, Tyler Parks. Tyler is a correctional officer at the Kentucky River Detention Center here in Hazard, and he is serving his community by doing his part to keep his coworkers and the inmates safe from COVID-19. Thank you, Tyler, for your service to the community, and thank Lori for her submissions. It was an honor to share your family with the region. But we're not done yet. We always do 3 pictures during this segment, so our final picture today comes to us from Robin. This is Robbie and Cheyenne May. They are members of the Golden Air Fire Department. As a former volunteer firefighter myself, I bet you didn't know that. There's a fun fact for you. I know that folks like Robbie and Cheyenne do much more than fight fires. They are a big part of the community. Thank you both for your service. Now, we've got about 2 weeks left here of this segment. We're going to continue to showcase folks. I still have a lot of pictures to go there, so maybe not taking so many submissions now, but you still want to send some in if you want to. You can do that a couple of different ways over at the Helpers and Heroes section on WYMT.com, or you can send me a message on my Facebook page, Brandon Robinson, WYMT. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you, and thank you to all of our helpers and heroes, and thank you for joining us. We'll have more Mountain News this morning after the break.